We're not actually taking hands. I see someone raise their hand. We're not. We're not taking hands today. It's just a. It's just a one-on-one debate.
I started the recording, so can we start now?
Yep.
Okay, Marcus, it was your proposition, so you have the first word.
All right, so obviously the claim I've said is that artificial insemination should be classified as bestiality. So I just want to first talk about the definition of it. So I'm just looking online right now. First definition that pops up: sexual relations between a human being and a lower animal. So I just want to see your thoughts on that before we start.
I am perfectly fine with that definition.
Okay, good. So now I'm just going to bring the subject onto artificial insemination, which what happens to cows and pigs and sheep and other kinds of animals like that in the industry. You okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. So so some artificial insemination, these practices that have go on in these industries is like fisting of cows and stuff, masturbation of them, and just other stuff like that to get them pregnant. Some basic factory farm practices that happen. So, what are your opinions on that?
Well, my opinions are irrelevant. We are discussing does those actions constitute a bestiality or not?
Yeah, I just want to see what your opinions are.
They're irrelevant.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay, so what do you think about this?
I think that artificial insemination is a medical procedure, and there isn't a requirement for any medical procedure to be carried on non-human animal. It is not a practice, and it is not something that most vegans uh, say that it is necessary.
Yeah. So, first thing I want to talk about is obviously the definition of it. I mean, in factory farms, as you can see, I don't understand how it's a medical practice to inseminate a female cow in order to make them pregnant. I don't see any medical help in there.
What do you mean there isn't any medical help in there? It's a
Yeah,
medical
there.
procedure,
Yeah,
right?
I don't understand how it is a medical procedure.
Well, artificial insemination is a medical procedure, same as it is in humans, right?
How is artificial insemination a medical procedure, if I may ask? I'm not sure I understand completely.
Do you know what medical procedure is?
Yes.
Do you know what artificial insemination is?
Yes.
Can you define artificial insemination for me?
Artificial insemination is the act of making a cow, a non-human
No,
animal,
that is.
any a non-human animal pregnant, basically through insemination, obviously.
Well, that doesn't make it artificial. You can have normal insemination. That is not the artificial insemination, right? So, what is
Yeah.
artificial insemination?
I believe artificial insemination is the act of artificially putting in genetically modified DNA and sperm into the animals.
It is not. I never saw or ever heard that they genetically modified DNA other than in some like
There are a
specific
couple.
cases which are like scientific experiments. They are not
Yeah,
farm
there are a couple.
practices. It is
Yeah,
normal semen.
yeah, and there are a couple studies online and some articles that I see online that shows that they sometimes genetically modify and selectively breed these animals.
Selective breeding in genetic modification while having the same basic outcome, but two completely different things. There is selective breeding means that you breed certain individuals with desired traits to propagate that trait, and there is no intervention in the DNA as such. It is taking advantage of the natural mutations. And
So, how would you specifically define artificial insemination?
I would say that it is a medical procedure to uh, done with the goal of producing pregnancy.
Producing pregnancy between non-human animals?
The subject is irrelevant for the definition. It can be carried out both in humans and in non-human animals. It can also be carried out in plants, of course.
But the subject we're trying to propagate is if it should be classified as bestiality, and bestiality is between non-human animals, right?
Yes, but that part with the bestiality for now is inconsequential to the definition of the artificial insemination as such. Do we now
We're trying to
agree?
see
Sorry,
what
go ahead. I interrupted you. I apologize.
we're trying to understand and see if artificial insemination should be classified as that. If we're trying to talk about that, we should bring it up that non-human animal artificial insemination, not human, because I know that stuff's a thing and it's a true medical procedure and it's consented and everything.
Okay,
And
so
while
do you agree that it is a medical procedure then?
it depends,
What do you
it
mean it
depends on
depends?
it depends on if it's good for the animal's well-being and health, which
Not necessarily, no.
I don't believe that there's any benefits towards artificial insemination. It's a practice that gives others profits and pleasure from it.
If it gets profit, that is not considered bestiality, of course. But that we need to stay more focused. So, do you think that every medical procedures needs to have benefit for the subject?
Yep,
How
it
about
depends.
lobotomy?
You repeat
Lobotomy was a medical procedure, right? And it didn't carry, especially in the time when it was very popular in psychiatric therapy, it would carry no true benefit to the uh, uh, recipient, nor did things like, I don't want to go too far back in like leeches or something, but medical procedures don't always carry benefit to the recipient.
how so?
I just gave you an example.
Yeah, but even still, with medical procedures and all that stuff, I've never in my life heard a medical procedure that doesn't benefit somebody and harms.
Well, somebody is different than the recipient. Artificial insemination benefits somebody, right? Of the
Yeah,
cow.
but not the individual themselves.
Yeah, not the recipient of the procedure.
Yeah.
That's what I said. And it is
So
not. So, do you understand that medical procedures don't necessarily need to be beneficial to the subject which they are carried on? They're still a medical procedure.
it depends. I still go by that belief. It depends. Because I believe that for it to be a medical procedure, it has to contribute to the well-being of the individual and not anybody else. It's all about the individual to me. So, yeah.
So, lobotomy carried out by trained professionals in hospitals were not medical procedures.
Because in hospitals, of course, all of their wait, wait, let me read these messages in stage chat real quick.
Yes, I can invite that individual later if I would rather keep this moving.
All right, so I'm reading through the chat, and somebody says that
The chat is recorded in my recording, so
yeah, okay.
I'm reading
So
it.
so looks like we're talking about. So someone's asking me to define medical procedure, which I already did already. It's the act of making somebody's well-being better. Just let me see if I can word that better. A medical procedure is something that helps the well-being and physical, mental, emotional well-being is something. It's like a treatment, but instead you're doing something to change your body in some way.
That is very
And
incoherent definition. I will not accept it.
hmm?
That is very incoherent definition. I will not accept it. Can you provide a better one?
Science and art dealing with the maintenance of health and the prevention, alleviation, or cure of disease. Well, I don't see any of that in artificial insemination.
So you think that artificial insemination of humans are not medical procedures?
Could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
So do
Your
you
mic is.
think that artificial insemination of humans is not a medical procedure?
I don't understand the question you're trying to ask me.
Do you know
Sounds
that
like
humans
saying,
get artificially impregnated too, right?
yeah,
It is not
but
that much of a difference in the process. Do you think that that
yeah,
is not a medical procedure?
but it's with consent.
I recognize that it is with consent, but is it a medical procedure or not?
It is.
Okay, so do you think that animals require consent for medical procedures to be carried on them?
No.
Okay, so what's the problem? Then that means that it is not necessary to have the consent of an animal to carry out a medical procedure.
If it helps their well-being, physical or mental health in any way, but as you can see here, they're
It is irrelevant to know if it is impossible to know if it will have the mental benefit. And I could argue that most cows, like 99.99999% of them, want to get pregnant, but that is irrelevant.
But I could also argue that this can actually affect their mental and emotional well-being
It is
in a
irrelevant.
negative. It's not irrelevant because that's literally part of the definition of a medical procedure, right? Health is not just physical, it's mental, emotional, all of those combined.
Yes, but
You can't just,
I agree that
yeah.
it is a concept of mental health, but that doesn't mean that artificial insemination is not a medical procedure. We already agreed that it is. And we already agreed that medical procedures
Yes.
don't require consent of the animal. So I don't see what else do we have to discuss.
We're still trying to go on the fact if it's beastiality or not.
Okay, do you think that that such a medical procedure constitutes a sexual act in the case of humans?
But the thing is, bestiality is just sexual relations between them. Doing those things to the animals is sexual relation because you're touching them.
I didn't come to animals yet. Do you think that that is a sexual act in case of humans?
But
That
there's
the
it's still
doctor
all
is having
sexual.
sex with a recipient of artificial insemination in humans. That it is sexually motivated by the doctor.
Could you repeat that again, actually?
Do you think that procedure in humans of artificial insemination is sexually motivated, that it is a sexual act
No,
of a,
no.
okay, so what would it be then in the case of animals?
Because with for animals, you gain pleasure from the profit based from
Well,
it.
you get pleasure from doing artificial insemination. In humans, it is very expensive. It is very
You do.
beneficial to the doctor.
It's beneficial for the farm workers too,
Yeah,
if you think.
exactly. It is the same.
But for humans, it also benefits the individual themselves too. For the animal, it benefits nothing. They're still going to, suffer the same stuff. So
To carry this on, would this benefit the animal or not?
also,
We will
so
have to go into meta-ethical analysis of the benefit,
could
and
I
it is not necessary for this discussion.
could I ask how is it beneficial to the doctors who do artificial insemination on
They get
humans?
pay for it, right? You pay for the artificial insemination.
Yes, that is correct
Well,
actually. But could you please tell me what the animal benefits from it?
it is irrelevant if the animal benefits or not.
But it benefits for the human
Yeah,
when artificial.
it is irrelevant for the topic of the discussion.
It's not.
It is. We already agreed that it is a medical procedure, that medical
Yes.
procedures don't require consent of the animal, and that artificial insemination is not a sexual act. So I cannot see how it can constitute a bestiality when it is none of the predefined definition, when it doesn't fit agreed upon definition of bestiality.
I agree with you
Okay,
on some molecular level.
so you concede the point. Great.
Yes.
Okay, so discussion is over then.
I see what you're trying to talk about here.
Well, it was your proposition. Don't say that I'm wiggling out of it.
So that was a good discussion.
Anytime, man. If somebody wants to, I cannot invite people to the stage. If somebody wants to ping a mod or something,
Yeah, if anyone wants to just join in,
we will
discuss
be
something I didn't
answering questions if you want. I know. I will be if you want for a few more minutes.
Cool. We'll see. I'll grab a hand here. I don't recognize some of these hands, so I'm probably gonna skip some of them. We'll move into a voice chat after to have more of an open discussion. Does anyone have a question for Marcus or Conan, real quick? Just tag me what your question is in stage text. Tristan, do you want to talk on stage?
Yo. Can you hear me okay? No?
Yeah, just put your mic closer or try again.
Well, my mic isn't very good. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
Just to know, just to tell you, I'm still recording.
Yeah, that's fine. In where I live, anytime you're having a remote conversation with someone, they have a right to record it.
Yeah,
Zoom
I've been
everyone's
noticing.
phone.
I'm noticing the same thing too. Like it's been pretty hard to hear Conan,
Huh.
so that's why I had to repeatedly ask for him to ask us questions again.
I can hear Conan pretty well, so I'm not sure about that.
Yes, it's probably my speakers or something.
So yeah, I don't know if artificial insemination is a medical procedure, and I think I disagree with you that plastic surgery is a medical procedure because medicine is to improve the health of someone. So like So like facial reconstruction, maybe like we can medicalize that, right? If you get your face caved in. But like just changing something for aesthetic reasons, I don't see what that has to do with medicine. And I think I disagree with you, Conan, when you say that plastic surgery, like for aesthetics, is a medical procedure. What do you think about that?
Most plastic surgeries, well, of course, there is a fine line between a plastic surgery and a cosmetic treatment, but things like breast implants, nose jobs, all of those required anesthetics, and they're only allowed to be carried out by the qualified medical professionals, and those medical professionals study and practice medicine.
Yeah, I think I can agree with all of that without granting that it's a medical procedure. Like, I think they're trained in the art of medicine and they're using the same techniques that are used in the medical field, but that doesn't necessarily make the procedure medical.
We can discuss it, plastic surgeries, another time.
Well,
It is not necessary. Can you link it to the topic?
yeah, I mean, it's an exploration of what we mean by medical. So like so maybe do you want to define a medical procedure? Or define
Sure.
medicine?
Let's not make a part of the decision. Let's go search for a second for a definition of medical procedure.
Yeah, I had this one for medicine, the science and art dealing with the maintenance of health and the prevention, alleviation, or cure of disease.
Hey, could I share my input here?
Please.
Okay, so with your argument saying that plastic surgery should not be classified as a medical procedure, I believe that it does because it helps affect their physical, mental, and emotional health in the same way.
Yeah,
It
that's kind of
benefits.
that's what Conan was saying is it's like a kind of a confusing line in between, like if someone is burnt in a fire and their face is rebuilt, I think that's a medical procedure because
Of
they're
course.
like they're gonna be treating dysmorphia, right? But like a breast implant, I think my position right now is that it's not medicine. Like unless you have someone with pretty like obvious dysmorphia, and I believe that most people that are getting breast implants don't have dysmorphia.
Medical
I don't
procedure
think.
and medicine and medical procedures are two different things.
So what's the difference?
Medical procedure is like you're treating healthcare. You're delivering healthcare to somebody else. Medicine is something to actually. Conan, you'll have to help me with that one. But I believe that medicine and medical procedures are two different things.
It's a course of action intended to achieve a result in the delivery of healthcare.
Yeah,
It can
Would-
also be
if you-
defined as a medical treatment or medical operation, even though diagnostics operations are also considered medical procedures and so on. But it is pretty clear that artificial insemination is a medical procedure. It would be very hard to dispute that.
I think I'm disputing it because it revolves around like a purely social issue, the medicalization of infertility. So like I think we could only I would call it medicine if and only if we consider infertility to be a disease, which I don't think it is.
I don't think that it is necessary to view it as a disease.
It's necessary.
Infertility is a state, And when we are talking about infertility, it is important to note that cows are fertile, otherwise they wouldn't be artificially inseminated. Or if they are found to be infertile, they will probably be killed. But in humans, we can discuss the difference between a medical state and a disease, but that is not the topic of today's conversation.
Well, but it is, because these words, like they're all human words, right? Like medicine and
I mean,
medical
all words
procedure.
that we communicate.
Yeah,
are
well, that's what I'm
human
saying
words.
is they're usually used in the context of dealing with humans, right? Like we have medicine to medicate humans. And
I
now,
mean,
like
we
we
also
do,
have veterinary medicine, which is used
yeah,
to.
but that came after, right?
It is debatable. Well, it probably came after because, I mean, the domestication of animals came after, but it's so long ago that it makes no difference.
That's another thing I was struggling with. Like, is it medicine if it doesn't work? Is bloodletting medicine? I'm
Well,
not
it is a
sure.
medical procedure. The outcomes are not in any procedure. The outcome is not guaranteed.
I don't know.
And the
See, like I
all
think, but
procedures that are carried
that
out are done with the same motivation.
I didn't catch that, but that implies that like the intent is what makes it medicine, and that would make like all alternative medicine would be medicine, like would qualify for the word medicine, and I don't think that's true,
Well,
right? Like
that's why it is used the word alternative medicine. It is a
I
medical
know,
procedure,
but
even though it would not be classified as traditional or Western or classic
right,
medicine. There is, I mean,
true,
it would classify as medicine. It wouldn't
right,
classify as
right, because by your
the
definition,
medicine. It is a
right,
medicine.
because right. Because by your definition, bloodletting is medicine because it has the intent, it has the goal to alleviate disease, right? And that's what makes it medicine, is because the objective is to alleviate disease. The outcome doesn't even matter. Only the objective matters. Is that right?
For the medicine, yeah,
Yeah.
that's to
So
be
that
considered
what you're saying is
medicine.
that now all alternative medicine is medicine because the objective is to alleviate
I
disease or
mean, it
increase
is
health.
medicine it's
Right.
a
And I
medicine.
don't
It's
think that's
not
a
the
good.
medicine, right?
But
Understand the difference between a medicine and the medicine.
so, well, I mean, so this, what I posted, trepanning, is also medicine because the objective is to let the
I don't know
demons
what
out.
trepanning is, and
I know, that's why I posted the article so you can see what it is.
yeah, can we go back to the topic?
Well, no, I mean, sure, okay, where do you want to go?
Well, let's go back to the artificial insemination and bestiality. That's the topic. It's
Okay.
not whether the procedure A or B is. We are strictly talking about artificial insemination. I'm not a
Well,
doctor.
but I mean, yeah, like the argument I would make is that artificial insemination is not medicine. That's the argument.
I mean, you
That's
can
the
make
foundation.
it, but I think that majority of medical professionals, and I understand that I'm using appeal to authority, but in this case, I think
Well,
it is valid.
I'll grant you the appeal to authority, no problem, if you source it.
I
Because
mean,
like reading the Wikipedia page for artificial insemination, one of the things that is pretty clear to me is that the medicalization of infertility is critical to this discussion, if that makes sense. And yeah, like I think you're too confident on your appeal. I think that a lot of medical professionals, well, I mean, first off, they wouldn't be interested in like the pedantics of like whether or not it qualifies for the word medical. But I think they would be like pretty open to the nuance of the medicalization of infertility, for example.
well, medicalization of infertility, if any given problem can be rectified, whoever has it, with means of application of medical procedures and medical practice. I don't see why it wouldn't be done. Same thing you can say, same thing about medicalization of, I don't know, transgenderism or something. Anything that is not caused by, I don't know, disease, as disease being
Yeah, I mean,
caused
when
by
we say
pathogens.
disease, like that has a lot of cultural baggage too, right? I mean, and that's why it's easier for me to medicalize sexual transition and less easy to medicalize infertility. Like it is because of that cultural baggage. You're absolutely right. But, like, I think we have to
infertility
have,
was medicalized for like hundreds and hundreds of years. The treatments or medical procedures for infertility are like not millions, but they are like thousands of years old.
yeah. There are the Hippocratic Oath is over 2,000 years old, isn't it?
Something like that. I'm not exactly sure.
No doubt. But I think there's another thing that that we'll do if we look back into history, and that is to confuse the word medicine. Because modern medicine is called medicine because it works, and that's why alternative medicine is not medicine. Alternative medicine is medicine that doesn't work, which means it's not medicine.
Well,
But if you go into
many
the past,
things
then
in medicine don't work. There are many treatments that are tried and failed. And artificial insemination is perfectly successful. Well, not perfectly,
you
but
want to
it
give an
has
example?
a very,
You want to give
very
an
high
example of a
success rate.
modern medical treatment that isn't medicine? Because I don't know what you mean by that.
No, I'm saying that not all medical treatments are guaranteed to succeed.
They don't need to be guaranteed. They just need to like have some like chance of benefit, right?
Well,
Like
not
chemotherapy.
chance of succeeding. That is more accurate.
Yeah.
And artificial insemination is very successful.
Well, I mean, the success rate doesn't matter, right? What I asked for was an example.
That it matters. I don't know what you are tiptoeing. I mean.
Okay, so the distinction I was trying to make is just the difference between modern medicine and traditional medicine, right?
That's not the topic of the day.
Yeah, it's important though because you keep referencing traditional medicine as if it's medicine.
It's
but in the
medicine.
context
It's not
of modern
medicine.
Sorry, what?
It's a medicine. Like there is more than one medicines, right? More than one medical systems. It's
right,
not
and do you see why that needs to? Do you see why that needs to be disambiguate, Conan? That we need to disambiguate between those two things because you keep switching back and forth, right?
Well, do you want to call the medicine Western medicine? Would that be easier for you?
Sorry, say again.
Do you want to call Western medicine medicine? Do you want to call the medicine like practicing major hospitals in the world Western medicine? And
I'm not quite following your question, but yeah, if we could agree that when we say medicine, we're referring to modern medicine.
We cannot.
That would clear.
Okay, but in that case, that would change the definition of the word medicine to incorporate a much more set of.
For the sake of the discussion, we need to figure out which medicine we're talking about because we keep switching back and forth. Right?
Okay, we can talk about Western medicine and alternative medicines. Okay,
okay? I don't want to say Western. Can we say modern medicine? Okay. So
we cannot say modern medicine because there is modern alternative medicine also. So that is incorrect.
No. Alternative medicine is just medicine that doesn't work.
Not necessarily, no.
If it worked, it wouldn't be alternative. It would just be medicine.
Well, it would be absorbed into medicine, but that doesn't mean that it wouldn't work as such. It can work. And
I mean, do you want to give an example of that then to help me understand?
Or for alternative medicine?
Of something that's alternative medicine that works.
At this current time of, let me see. It is hard to say because, as I said, most things that are proven to be effective eventually get absorbed into the quote unquote medicine or Western medicine. But Western medicine didn't start the way it is now, right? Most of the things were first alternative medicine, then became the medicine. I cannot think.
I mean,
I'm not a medical expert, so. But
that's
saying that
that's probably happened.
alternative medicine doesn't work flat out, that's a tall order, and you cannot. If I would ask you to provide the proof that alternative medicine never helped anyone, you couldn't provide that evidence. So
No,
it's irrelevant.
I would provide proof of the opposite. We know alternative medicine works, but we
Okay,
know
so what's the
why.
problem?
Listen, no, Conan, hold on. Let me finish. We know why it works. It's through the placebo effect, right? Which means it's not really medicine. It's a placebo.
It's not always the case of placebo. It can be also the case that it uses yet to be undiscovered compounds or chemical compounds in their traditional medicines and so on. But that is beside the point. Let's get back to the topic of I'm not here to discuss difference between.
But we have to. We have to
Okay,
clarify these things. If you're going to say it's a medical procedure
it
and
is a
use that for
medical
your argument,
procedure. It is practiced
no.
in Western
See,
medicine,
I disagree.
in Western
I disagree.
hospitals.
That's what we're discussing.
Okay, so do you disagree that artificial insemination is traditional medical? Not traditional, is like it's Western medical practice done by studied by scientific means with scientific backing, with thousands upon thousands of studies and so on. That is taught in all of the world premier traditional Western medical colleges and universities, that it is ambiguously understood as part of the Western medicine.
So you're saying, okay, so you're saying medicine is everything that's taught in Western medicine? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, they are taught in medicine. Yeah, medicine is a wider term, but in the Western medicine, it is taught, it is practiced, it is perfectly understood to be a part of the medical field. I don't see how you can state otherwise. It would simply be, I would say, incorrect.
I'm sorry. Let me put in my other earbud because I didn't quite understand. What are you saying is incorrect?
That it is not a Western medicine in like that it was not taught in places like Oxford and Harvard and all of those things. It is completely scientifically based, scientifically researched, scientifically practiced. It has all the hallmarks of what you would consider quote unquote medicine. And I don't see how you can dispute that. When it is done by qualified medical practitioners who studied the practice on qualified universities, basically you cannot get more professional than that. You cannot get more. You can only get wider definition of the word medicine. You cannot get narrower definition to not include artificial insemination. That would be unique. And if you don't agree that artificial insemination is a medical practice, I'm probably not the interlocutor for you. go talk to somebody like Avi.
Well, but that's you kind of should be willing to discuss it because that's the hinge. That's what your argument hinges on, right? That's why you're saying that artificial insemination of farm animals is not bestiality because it is a medical procedure. So, I mean, I don't think it's too much to ask for you to defend that.
I mean, it is widely understood to be a medical procedure.
Well,
And it fits the
can you provide
definition of
any
the medical
evidence
procedure.
of that consensus?
I mean, if you type in the artificial insemination meaning in the Google, you will find it is a medical veterinary procedure of inserting semen into a female. I mean, it's not like
Yeah, I need a stronger then post the source because I want that to be coming from somewhere discussing what medicine is and then explaining how it is a medical procedure, if that makes sense.
okay. Can you give me another example of a medical procedure, anyone?
Chemotherapy.
Okay, show me that it is a medical procedure. Show me somebody who discusses medicine to be a medical procedure, that chemotherapy is a medical procedure.
Okay, I mean, I'll keep looking. I've been looking, but that will slow down the conversation
Okay,
a bit more.
when you ask me to do the same thing, so I don't see the problem.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I mean,
I guess just that
I
think it
think
would be
this is
easier
you
to
are
accept if
being.
you said,
I don't think you are being honest, but okay.
really.
Yeah, I think you
That's a
perfectly
leap.
understood that
I
it is a
think
medical procedure.
I think because the chemotherapy fits so well in all of the definitions
So
that
does
have been
medical
offered.
procedure. Sorry, so does
I see.
artificial insemination.
No, it doesn't fit in any definition that I've given or that others or the others have given. It doesn't.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat. They disagree with you, but okay.
Yeah, it sounds like you're hitting a wall here. So I don't know if you want to make like a final statement, each of you, and then maybe I don't know if Conan wants to talk. I know at least one other person wants to hop up and continue, but I don't know how much time restrictions you have, Conan.
Yeah, I could probably do one more person.
Cool. Yeah, do you want to just wrap up a statement, Tristan, and then Conan can do a final statement on response to that, and we'll just move on.
Yeah. So I think I didn't think about it too much before this discussion,
It shows.
but oh wow, thanks. But I don't think that it is a medical procedure. I don't think plastic surgery is a medical procedure. I think medicine is actions taken towards the end of increasing health or alleviating disease. And so we have to first figure out medicalization of infertility before we can say whether or not it's a medical procedure. That said, it doesn't matter if it's a medical procedure or not. Conan's argument is not good because if you tie someone down and you do a quote medical procedure on them against their will, it's still a violation of their autonomy. So it doesn't matter either way. Thank you everyone for listening, and thank you, Conan.
Yeah, violation of autonomy is not the topic of the discussion today.
What?
Violation of autonomy is not a topic of the discussion today. It is whether or not is artificial insemination of non-human animals a bestiality, and it is not. So it is relevant. I mean, medical procedures in animals do not require consent. So, but that is the higher bar that I need to prove. But it is also true.
Okay, maybe we can pick that up. It was supposed to be final statement, so I know that Tristan might have a response to that, but that's okay.
Yeah, I don't know where mod life, guys. I cannot let you on stage. Okay, will you let somebody else, or I'll be done?
Yep. Gray, I invited you. I don't know if you're driving, so you might not have heard the notification. So there should be like a button at the top of the screen telling you that you can accept the invite. Oh, they might have audio issues. Yeah. I don't know if they're probably just gonna rejoin. Just hang on.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm sorry about that. I'm driving. I'm on a cross-country trip, and I was listening to the conversation. I appreciate the distraction.
No problem.
Are you guys still willing to talk about it?
Marcus left, but I'm here.
So I actually didn't agree that AI was bestiality until I was listening to the conversation. But one of the things you brought up was that whether or not it's a sexual act. And I think that it is a sexual act because it involves the sperm and egg and insemination, impregnation, and I think that those things are sexual even if they're not like sexually pleasurable. They are related to sex.
In that case, artificial insemination in humans is a sexual act.
Yes, I think that it is.
Okay. If you think that, then I don't know what to say to you.
Okay. Yeah, I think even if the doctor performing the procedure on a human isn't getting sexual pleasure from it, it's still an act that's related to sex because impregnation is occurring.
I mean, if that would be your definition of sexual interaction, I guess gynecologists have a lot of sex.
I just wanted to chime in and say that if there isn't any response, that's fine.
No, I don't think it is a sexual act. I don't think that it fits the definition of a sexual act. But if you say that it is, then if for you it is, I cannot disagree with your definitions when you hold them.
Okay, that's fine. Thanks for the discussion, guys.
Anytime. Okay, it's apparently over.